I played a demo of Lost Sphear. This is from the developers of I Am Setsuna, Tokyo RPG Factory. I'm not going to talk too much about Lost Sphear since this is a demo and the full game will be released next month, so we'll probably feature in next month's video. The demo doesn't give you much in the way of story anyway, so I can't really set it up for you. I'm just going to point out the 3 things that I noticed about it. Number 1 is that you can now freely place your party members about the battlefield, and it's a lot more obvious when your attacks will hit multiple enemies or go through multiple enemies. So placement seems to be, and tactics seem to be a much bigger focus this time around. Secondly, your characters appear to have what I can only describe as Magitech armor. I'm not sure, I can't remember the term they use in the demo. But yeah, you can swap into this super powerful armor that does really big attacks, but drains your energy meter or your special power meter or whatever. So obviously you want to use them sparingly. Boss fights only, I guess. Or for very tough fights anyway. And last, it's not really explained very well in the demo, at least I didn't grasp it, but your character can make artifacts out of these missing pieces in the world. And what these artifacts appear to do is kind of force battle rules in the next area. So I had a couple to pick from. You can boost magic attacks or make status effects not work or various other things to choose from. What it really means is you're forcing certain stipulations on the battle that you may benefit from. So let's say you pick the one that gives you 10% extra melee damage or something like that. While you'll get the 10% boost, your opponents will also get that 10% boost. So you kind of have to weigh up whether or not having your opponents benefit from the same thing will really be bad for you. If you decide to take a 10% melee boost and all of your opponents are magic based, then yes, that's good. That's a good deal for you. But if they are also melee based, then, you know, that was a bad move. We'll see how it plays out in the full game. Look for it next month, hopefully.
We've received eyewitness reports of our target, the Great Jaguars, roaming around these parts. So let's get right to it. Open up your map.
Managed to get some time with the Monster Hunter World beta. Only managed to squeeze in about 2 hours out. I was heavily jet lagged at the time and I missed the second beta. So this is the beta they held earlier in December. So if you're not familiar, and you may not be, Monster Hunter is a very old series. Well, maybe not very old necessarily. PS2, 2005, 2004 was its first release. And I played it back then, even though online wasn't really a thing yet on PS2. Certainly not in the West, maybe in Japan. And I found it kind of confusing. It never really clicked with me. But the series itself has been going strong ever since then. It hasn't really had a hiatus. Releases only in Japan or only on handhelds and things like that. So this is its kind of big return to the big consoles and to the West. And they're looking to make it a lot more accessible this time around, a little bit easier for noobs like me, and maybe like you, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, this is a demo, more or less. It's a beta. I'm not really going to comment too much on it. It held up pretty well. I enjoyed playing it. The Monster Hunter series itself is a kind of loot cycle game. You go out into the wild, you hunt down monsters, as the title might suggest. You beat up the monsters, you kill them, you take their stuff, you bring their stuff back to town, and you use it to make better stuff. You know, it's a fairly standard loot cycle. Again, game came out in 2005, and it's just been iterating on that core concept. This is like its maybe 7th, installment, I'm not entirely sure. So they've got a lot of systems at work, and it's going to be very complex. So I'm hoping that their attempt to make it a bit more accessible works out, because I did like what I played, but I could see the complexity, you know, making me go a little bit crazy. Hopefully we'll see this next month. Coming out a bit late in the month, so it may not make the cut for next month's video. So you might see it in February's video instead.
You'll never see it come back. You say that my mind is the best for right. You're done now.
So there were 2 DLC packs released for Resident Evil 7 this month. First one we're going to talk about is called Not a Hero, and spoilers, Not a Hero takes place after the main game, so if you missed the spoiler warning before this, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Okay, Not a Hero, you play as Christopher Redfield, former member of STARS, and former member of the BSAA, I guess, who shows up at the end of the main game, seemingly working for Umbrella, and Umbrella are the bad guys, so what's that about, Chris? Well, play the DLC and you'll find out. The DLC, as I said, takes place at the end of the game. Chris is chasing after Lucas into the mines. Lucas is the only member of the Baker family still at large, and was seemingly the mastermind behind the whole game. So Chris's job is to go into the mines, look for Lucas, and rescue any Umbrella members that have been caught up in Lucas's traps. And that's the game. Or that's the DLC, rather. There's a little more to it, story-wise, than that, of course, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. And this is very action-based. I mean, Chris is fairly well adept at these bio-organic weapons at this point, so lots of gunning, lots of shooting. Chris has got special equipment to take care of them. Some added wrinkles from the original game. There's a new type of bow. There's a new type of molded that you need special equipment to take down. But that's really the only wrinkle, so it's kind of like a shooting gallery in a lot of ways. There's certainly not the survival horror-y type element to it. This is very much the action element. It's a lot of fun though. I do recommend it. Particularly since if you have Resident Evil, you can get this. It's free. So why not? It's a lot better than their other DLC packs. It's a lot of fun. You get a bit of extra story. You get, why the hell is Chris working for Umbrella? What the hell's that about, Chris? Thought we were bros. But I don't know. Play the DLC, find out. It's free. Just go play it. Yeah, right, great, right, good.
You never see it coming. You say that my mind is too fast for right. You're done now.
Alright, you moldy motherfucker. I can take you fuckers with my bare hands.
Second DLC pack for Resident Evil 7, and now spoiler warning is still in effect because this DLC also takes place at the end of the game. It actually takes place after the last DLC, so mega spoiler warnings. Okay, good. Right. This DLC pack is called End of Zoe, and Zoe being the sister or daughter character of the Baker family, who didn't exactly get a good, outcome from the game. She kind of got turned to calcium or something. I don't know. Anyway, this DLC will tell you what happened to her. You thought she was dead, but no, she wasn't. Anyway, you play Joe Baker, a previously unknown Baker family member who we didn't totally just make up for this DLC. I swear, he was definitely planned this whole time. And he's been living in the swamp, I guess. This whole thing's been going on for however many years. I guess he doesn't talk to his family that often. And he stumbles upon Zoe, who's in her, crystal calcium phase. I don't know. And he, doesn't really understand what's going on, so he's just gonna, try to fix things. With his fists. Yes. Joe Baker does not have guns. He has his fists, and he uses them a lot for punching. Punching monsters, and punching doors, and punching various other things. Punching gators, I assume. This DLC is a lot of fun. It was kind of billed as a sort of stealthy thing. Like a stealthy romp around the swamp, but it's really not. Stealth is there. The stealth attacks are definitely there as well, but no, this is a big punch fest. You just punch things. You get your combos. You have your left punch on your left trigger and your right punch on your right trigger, and that's it. You can vary up the combos. You get some swift jabs in, you get some uppercuts, you get some big stupid crosses as well. It's stupid and it's funny, and it's as goofy as Resident Evil has ever gotten, and it's great. So go play it. You'll find out what happens to Zoe. And even if that's not what you're interested in, you get to punch stupid monsters. It's just funny and hilarious. This, as far as I know, is not covered by the season pass for Resident Evil 7, so you will have to pay for it, unless you got the Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition, which also came out this month. And if that's what you got, then you get this as well. So good, go play it. Go be Joe Baker, punch some gators. Okami HD, or Okami the Magnificent version, as it was known in Japan. Okami originally came out in 2006, I think. Originally developed by Clover Studio and published by Capcom. Clover Studio was closed by Capcom right after Okami came out originally, which is a bit of a bummer. Clover made other games like Beautiful Joe and God Hand, which are both really good games. So it was a bit of a shame that they closed right after Okami came out, because it got some really good critical reception, but I don't think it sold that well. It's okay, Clover Studio eventually turned into Platinum Games, and Platinum Games make amazing action games, so I guess it all worked out. The HD release was co-developed by Hexadrive, who are known for making HD ports of Japanese games. They did a good job. Okami HD for PS4 and Xbox One, presumably, and maybe PC, I'm not sure, is the same version that came out on PS3. So the same Okami HD. So all the trophy support and the PlayStation Move support is still there from the PS3 version. Obviously not the PS2 version, because there was no PlayStation Move at the time, though it did come out on the Wii, so there were waggle controls if you like. The big update for the PS4 version is that it has 4K resolution if you want, but it locks the game to 30 frames per second, so it's up to you whether that's a big problem for you or not. I can't tell you because I don't have a 4K TV, so I don't know. All I do know is that action games tend to suffer at 30 frames per second. If you're not familiar with Okami, well, pull up a chair, I will tell you all about my favourite game on PlayStation 2. Or at least certainly one of them, definitely in the top 5 anyway. Okami, you play as Okami Amaterasu, who is the sun goddess in Japan. And she's a white wolf who does sick martial arts, you know, as they do. This is a heavily stylized watercolor style game. Game plays a lot like Legend of Zelda, like a lot, like almost exactly like Legend of Zelda. You have an open world where you can do lots of little mini side things if you like. You go into dungeons, you do some puzzles in dungeons, you learn a new move, you bring the new move out into the real world, and you go about your business. Story-wise, Amaterasu is trying to bring nature back to the world. You've got this kind of dull and dark and purple world that you need to fix and make all colourful and nice and pretty again. And yes, that's been used in lots of other games, but Okami did it first, so shut up. It's just a lot of fun to play, even though it seems really serious and we need to save the world from monsters and such. It's like a lot of fun. There's a lot of humour in it. It's very funny, particularly since Okami Amaterasu is kind of treated like a dog, like a stupid dog. Can only bark. You have a little companion to kind of talk to other people for you, but he's kind of full of himself and kind of just gets you into trouble. It's funny. Combat-wise, combat is very interesting. In combat, you have your standard kind of attacks on the square button where you can beat up people and jump around. You've got dodges, you've got all that nice stuff. But additionally, you have the Celestial Brush. What you do with the Celestial Brush is you pause gameplay, and this little piece of paper goes over the battlefield. Everything turns to black and white, and you draw shapes, gestures, however you want to put it, over enemies, and those gestures will correspond to different moves. So if you draw a line through them, you'll do a power attack. If you draw a kind of swirl on them, you'll do a wind attack. If you draw a little cherry bomb on top of them, you'll do an explosion, and so on and so on. And there are lots of different moves. And that's a lot of fun. And if you can get move support going, that's a lot of fun too. Different monsters are susceptible to different abilities, but they're not, you don't have to use those abilities on them, you can still beat them without them, but obviously it's more efficient if you know the ability that can beat those monsters. Okami is an excellent game. It's so nice to look at. In HD it looks even better. In 4K I assume it looks incredible. It's fun to play. It's got the Clover Games, Platinum Games action going. It's like a prototype almost. The Celestial Brush gameplay is really interesting, it just changes things up so much. The story is very funny, if you want it to be. It's a bit slapstick, but there you go. And it's cheap, it's not a full price game. I think it was only €40. It might even be cheaper now on the sale, if you check on it. If you missed it the first time around, and you missed it again on the PS3 when the HD release was there, you know, grab it now. As I said, the only change from PS3 to PS4 is that there's 4K now, and if you don't have a 4K TV, there's no real point. The trophy package is the same, so if you've collected all the trophies on the PS3 version, you've collected all the trophies on the PS4 version. They use the same trophy package. So if you already have the platinum, you already have the platinum. Sorry. Otherwise, if you don't care about trophies, and you really should, because Okami is incredible and you should just play it, go get it. It's cheap. Just, you know, just do it for me. You know, I'll be your friend or something. Those were the games of December 2017. Okami being a big standout for me. I love that game. Next month we'll be looking at Monster Hunter World. Hopefully, we'll see how much of the game I can actually get in. And Lost Sphear as well. Additionally, I got a Switch recently, so hoping to get some Switch gameplay of either Xenoblade Chronicles or Breath of the Wild on the channel. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching the video, and thanks for watching all my videos, if you did. This is the first full year I did of these games of insert month here. Hoping to continue them. I hope you like them. Any feedback is appreciated. Comments below or on my Twitter and so on. Otherwise, I'll see you next month and Happy New Year.